that's what I want to see from Gundam. This is the shit I want to see. Like, this is like from the stuff that we've been getting for like a long ass time. I mean, I know some people won't be interested in like the Gundam Bill fighters, and a lot of people really didn't care about Reconquista. Same with me. We haven't had a new kind of mainstream kind of Gundam series in a while, and I'm happy to say Iron Blooded Orphans is amazing from the first episode. It was a really great start from what I've seen thus far. I gotta say, like, the new Gundam Barbatos, like, oh my god, there's such a sick design. It's got a giant ass spear. It's cool as fuck, and it didn't even arrive till like kind of near the stinger at the end of the episode. It's just like, mwah, just so good. So people want to know this is not actually part of the main timeline of Gundam. Surely most of you Gundam fans would know that, but just so some of you don't, it doesn't take place in the Universal Century timeline at all. Like, this is like kind of its own separate thing. And one thing I say, like, it takes place on Mars, where we get to see like this third squad, mainly that focuses on Minazuki, who's the guy that actually controls the Gundam, and he's sort of like the more quiet. The best way to compare him is like the main character from Al Noah Zero. He's kind of quiet, kind of just keeps to himself, and he's like, there's a lot more going on in his head as from the start than we actually think. It's like, and then we get to see kind of like his best bud, like Orga, and the same with like you see like how they actually play. Like, no one's got Gundams in this area. Not everyone's got a Gundam. Like, it's very rare to see someone have like a mobile suit in general, for at least from this battalion that we saw. And it was like this, like just this outskirts of like Mars, and it was like this really shitty kind of like, felt like at some parts a concentration camp, because where you had like people placing like landmines, they get beaten, and they had to have like operations on their spines just so they could like, I think it's like to help them like move easier, and like the Gundam is like right on their spinal column, and they had like this giant like metal plating on their back, and I'm like, geez, that's a lot. And it's like to see like, because they're part of the 3rd Battalion, and the 1st Battalion are a bunch of scumbags that think they're the better than everyone. The 2nd are kind of like, just like kind of there. And it's like we see that Miyazuki's like one of the best like guys in the entire like battalion, just the whole thing there. And August also is one of the captain of the 3rd Battalion, and they get a job from one of the royal people of Earth. Mainly, I believe her name was like, she's got a long ass name, but I believe it was Aina that her name was. And basically, she's like, oh, I want to start peace. And her piece of shit father working with the fucking like, he's there with the bad guys right now, and he's selling out his own daughter. And he knows, like, it's like, oh, she's trying to do her own thing. And, like, the guy's there, oh, this is, yeah, your daughter, she's not doing too many good things. We're like, oh, yeah, just go and kill her. It's an accident. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, this scumbag, like, throwing away his daughter just because, what, her beliefs are different. I mean, that's the one thing I like about Gundam, is that it's a very political heady show, alongside with some great action as well. And that's what I really like, because, already from first episode, we kind of see how the political structure of the world is, and sort of how people are getting treated, and it's like that. People want liberation from like not just Mars. I believe there was like Earth as well. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's like they had a little bit of the strike force that goes down to attack the battalion, and of course those 1st Battalion pieces of shit just fucking leave. They abandon it. It's like all up to the 3rd Battalion to pretty much protect the princess, take care of everything, be back for tea time. And they were doing pretty good, but the problem was when they actually started, they were heavily outnumbered, outgunned, and then they started bringing in the mobile suits in as well, which was like this Freeze battalion, and they got fucking cocky, and it was run by like this kind of newbie guy. There was like this old age veteran that taught the guy, and then there was even like one that was his first mission on the job, and he pretty much, he was like, yeah, you gotta listen to me, son. He's like, oh, I'm the commander. You listen to me now, like that. I may have been your student, but now you do things my way. And it's just like, like, it really reminds me of like the Zeon Day, like kind of reminds me of like the 1st episode really of like the Mobile Suit Gundams, or like of the movies. Kind of remind me of that little battalion that went in to like destroy the sphere. Like, that's kind of what it reminded me of. And I gotta say, for what it is, and I'm glad that I had a lot of hype going into this, because it definitely met it. Like, I want to see more of Barbatos. The only thing that I can say about it so far is that, honestly, it's like, the characters are obviously what you kind of expected for a lot from the Gundam series, and like, honestly as well, I just wish they focused a little bit more on kind of more of the characters, all that, because there's like, they put a lot of characters on episode 1, and hopefully that's what, obviously since this first episode, that's understandable. I want to see throughout the series like more of these guys like flesh out, see what's really going on with the story. So that's honestly the things like, maybe a bit too many characters to focus on first, I can say. But no, I definitely feel like it's definitely built up this like weird kind of brotherly relationship between Minazuki and Orga, which is, I'm guessing that's why it's called, you know, Iron Blooded Orphans as well. You know, they're united by blood and they're like iron. It's like it's a cool ass series, and I gotta say the opening as well. Although we didn't see the visuals, I believe that was happening last time as well when we saw Reconquista. We actually got to hear like the actual song itself under the credits, done by Man with a Mission. If you don't know, they've done the Natsu no Taizai opening to, you know, the pain and the pleasure all comes together. That awesome song. They also did like the Japanese song for Mad Max Fury Road, which is a great song as well. They've done a bunch of other stuff. I believe it was with Zebrahead actually they did that with. Honestly, it was great. Really honestly, people are very intimidated by like the Gundam saying, oh, you know, I don't know where to start and going there. Really recommend the first episode of this. I feel like this is a great one that's catering more to more the kind of like people that kind of want to get into Gundam for instead of like the veterans, and I think that's what Reconquista was kind of be, but then it was its own thing and then it just decided to go very retardedly weird. So yeah, I honestly can't recommend it enough. I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10 for the first episode. Really can't wait for it. I am definitely adding this to the review schedule. I really want to talk about that, and I definitely want to keep up with it, like, because it was very entertaining, and I want to talk about more Gundam on series, and I want to finally talk about a mainstream one, since I've talked nothing but the Build Fire series and a bit of Reconquista, and I kind of want to, hopefully in the next one that I'll talk about, like, after maybe this one's out, maybe we might get some more Universal Century in there, or maybe I might just talk about some of the older stuff, you know, like, we get into, like, you know, maybe Seed. I don't know. Seed people are quite negative about Seed, but maybe like Zeta or something like that, or like, you know, maybe Double O, Wing, like stuff like that I still need to go more further into. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. But that's all from me. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.